introducing the subject?
Nah, you are.
Oh, more surprises. Tell me when we live.
We live. It's on you.
Oh, well, good evening, everyone. And as you've been following us, and if not, this is our version of our own view. And tonight, this is as we with Queen Afi, Tia, Rene, and we have a special guest with us also. And this is domestic violence wears many colors. And tonight we're going to be talking about domestic violence in the criminal justice system. That's a mouthful by itself. And I'm pretty sure all of us in some form or fashion have experienced something that, excuse me, and I have a little cough too, everyone. So, with that being said, let's get started. I don't know if people actually understand when you say domestic violence in the criminal justice system. Many women now let's get something straight though. Men and women are victims of domestic violence. So, but I'm going to pinpoint the majority of women who are put in prison for domestic violence. It's because they were defending themselves,
Wow.
and no one wants to hear that. No, when they show up on the scene, um, they ask little questions, go with the most irate, which will be the victim, and even going through the court system. As I have done my studying, if he didn't kill you, then you're not the victim anymore. If you killed him, if you unalived, whatever, but the court system is against you. That goes for men too, but the majority of the women who go to prison are in there for domestic violence because they are the victim, not the abuser. You got some abusers in there, of course, but they are the victim. Again, 92% of women, now listen to these statistics, 92% of domestic violence victims are afraid to call 911. They believe because they will be the ones to get locked up because they've seen it before. 40% avoid calling because they've also know that the police will it doesn't make a difference. They will be victimized again until eventually they either find a way to leave or they kill the person. Um, a lot of them don't feel safe, and only 20% feel safer after calling the police. And then that's horrible. Only 20% feel safe. Many times the victims, or again, like I just mentioned, are the ones that's locked up. I'll give you, for instance, a nurse in Manhattan. She had court documents that proved that her estranged husband had been beating on her, had stomped her. She moved down, she moved into her own place. And one night he broke into her home. The neighbors heard her screaming. She got a knife and she did stab him to death, but it was in self-defense after he stomped her and she was able to get off the floor. Again, the neighbors heard this, but when they came there, and even a neighbor came over and said, "But we heard her," and she was trying her best. Well, who got locked up? She did. Who did the time? She did. And remember the case of the young lady who escaped her her sex trafficker, and she unalived him, and she went to jail for it. So what are you supposed to do as a victim of domestic violence trying to protect yourself? There's also she had proof. She even had a video of her estranged husband choking her. You know what the judge told her? That it appears that he is choking you, but he did not, but you didn't die. That's what the court state. It's in the records that she stated that. It appears that he is choking you. But he didn't choke you for long. That's what it says. So I have to recap that. But he didn't choke you for long. What's long? Till you dead?
Right.
Where was this?
This was in New York. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Now, more,
Till you
more. Of course,
be
we know.
giving them good.
More thing, we of course know more black and brown women are locked up for defending themselves. Hmm. So I'll wait and give the rest later, and this someone else come in.
Mm-hmm. Till you want to chime into that real quick? Get Officer Dobie on.
Well,
No, I want to hear Officer Dobie.
well,
Okay.
what I'm looking at and what I'm listening to, it's like we have to look at a lot of the totality of the circumstances that's going on around. How many times have the police been called to that location? How many
Mm-hmm.
have they been to court where, okay, I think he still loves me, I want to drop the charges? So that's why a lot of states right now, I don't know the number, but I know a lot of states are like, we don't care, we're picking up the case for you. So you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to go testify. We're going to pick it for you. So when it comes down to protecting yourself, you have to look at, okay, did she stab him? Did she stab him one time? Did she stab him 75 times? So a lot of states look at it as an overkill. Like if you stab him one time and you got him good and he dies on the spot, yeah. But if
But
he
wouldn't you? I'm sorry, but wouldn't you say a lot of women would snap when you've
Right.
been beat for many years, and
yes,
you just lost it? I don't think you're going to count. I'm gonna stab one good time. That's gonna be it. It's like killing a Jason. You want to make sure he don't come back.
Mhm.
How
it,
do you say one time or 20 times?
you're right. You have to, but this is what the court system is looking at. They're looking at like an overkill. That's what they're looking at it like. Okay, you stabbed him 75 times. Why you stabbed him 75 times? Okay, I've been getting beat all these times. You haven't done anything. I filed the paperwork. I have called the cops numerous times. I have asked y'all to put him in jail. I went and got a restraining order. I went and got a concealed weapons permit. I went and got a taser. I went and got pepper spray. But the courts look at it as an overkill. My thing is, it all it takes is one time because I don't know that person's state of mind. So when we go to the scene and we're talking, for me, I'm not talking about every other cop. For me, I take it serious
Hmm.
because we've had some people, like one guy, he got into a fight. Him and his wife was fighting and everything else. So when I get there, and this is right after my daughter was killed. As soon as I get there, he's like, I don't I don't want her arrested. I'm loving her and everything. And I'm looking at him like, dude, look like you got into a fight with a damn mountain lion. She looked like she done win a couple of rounds with damn Mike Tyson.
Mm.
So for me, what I do, everybody's going to jail. I don't turn you over to your command because 9 times out of 10 they're going to sweep it underneath the rug. Sometimes the court system sweeping underneath the rug. But I can actually sleep better at night knowing that okay, both of you are in jail. You're gonna have to let the court system decide. And we know that the judicial system is not in favor.
Right.
It's not in favor. So what I tell women, keep documenting it. Keep documenting. Let it go. Say, hey, this is what's happening. Call the police every time. If you got family members, I can't say bring them in because it's still a dangerous situation. But the more
Mhm.
witnesses you got, the better for you. The better for you.
Mhm.
And for these women that listen to these guys and say, "Well, baby, I love you. I will never do it again."
Mhm.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
One time, one time is all it takes, because he's going to have that mentality of
Of
she's going,
course.
huh?
Of course he will.
Yeah, he's going to have that mentality. Don't ever worry about it. I'll get her. And a lot of people stay for the kids, but what are you doing for your kids?
Causing trauma.
Yeah, you. you're definitely causing trauma. So when I go there and I'm like, look, this is what's going to happen. He's going to jail. She's going to jail. The children, I hate to say it, but the children are going into child protective services because for me, if you really care about your child, you're not going to be sitting there fighting your spouse in front of your children.
Mm-hmm.
You don't care about it.
But do you know there's a law also that you can be taken to court? A victim can be taken to court for neglect of their child during a fight. That they should have prevented that, got the child out the home. But I want to know how are you able to get a child out of the home during a domestic violence attack?
Basically, we look at the totality, the bruises, the level of bruising, how much, the way the house looks and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But what people do, they will say, okay, I want to send my kids with my sister, or I want to send the kids with his uncle. And the only thing they're going to do is sit there and discuss the case in front of the kids. Well, your mama should have never did this. Your mama should have never did this. And
Yeah.
then families like your daddy should have never did this. Your daddy should have never did that. Instead of explaining to them what's going on. And
Right.
that's what starts this whole cycle within the children and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because
There are 16 states that have mandatory arrest.
yep. And tell you the truth, I think it should be in every state.
Yeah.
I think it should be in every state because my thing is, this is just me. Nobody should put their hands on anybody. If you put your hands on somebody, for me, that relationship is over.
Mm-hmm.
It's over. No matter how much I love you, I can never see you as the same person.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say you said there's 16 states that have mandatory arrest.
Yes.
So the states that do not have mandatory arrest,
I guess it's up to
the officer. It's up to the officer.
It's up to the
officer.
It's up to the officer.
To me, but some of those states, I know with some of the states and counties, I know something for Anne Arundel County, all you have to do is complain of pain. And the other party is going to jail. Some states you gotta have that physical bruising or something like that. Or either you gotta go to the ER.
Mm-hmm.
Well, up to date, as of this date, Maryland and Anne Arundel County is not on the list.
Mm-hmm.
So the ones that have mandatory are Alaska, Arizona, Colorado, Connecticut, Kansas, Louisiana, Maine, Mississippi, Nevada, New Jersey, Ohio, Oregon, Rhode Island, South Dakota, Utah, and Washington, and also Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to say D.C. have it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but everybody else, they don't have that. They don't have that.
Wow.
And like I said, this is what we should do. And when it comes down to the penalties for domestic violence, you should do more of it. Your penalties, you should have harsh penalties, you should have everything. And as far
is there really a penalty for domestic violence though? Because it really doesn't appear to be. Like it's like you get a slap on the wrist, or the person might get arrested for however long, and then that's it. They tell them to stay away from this person or XYZ, and a lot of abusers, that just infuriates them more. So that it's like there are no penalties for domestic violence unless someone gets murdered.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is the truth.
So
you have to get murdered.
I look at it like this,
and I hate to say that.
I've had a friend who stayed with me. Her and her child stayed with me because of a domestic violence. So I know what I'm getting myself. It's nothing romantically involved with this person.
Right.
No, and I just didn't like what I saw. It was been my So what I did was I invited her into my house. So the boyfriend is calling calling. So you know what I do. So it was like certain times I'm like, hey, watch the monitors. You know, when you get out the car, look around. Anything looks suspicious, do not go into the house. Anything. So it's like a catch-22 because you want to help everybody.
Right.
You want to help everybody when it comes down to that. But in a sense, you can't because it's been times when we went on domestic violence calls and we go to lock the husband up and the wife jumps on our back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, she's trying to hit us with frying pans and mop handles and anything she get her hand on. But in certain places, especially the military wise, when you convicted of a domestic violence or an assault charge, anything like that, you actually lose your right to carry a weapon.
Right.
And that's all the military does. And then they see that, wait a minute, I'm going to lose this housing. I'm going to lose this extra money. I'm going to lose all these benefits. And then we can't take it. And some of the units will be like, okay, well, we told you to move out and everything else. But what is the unit doing? What is the unit doing to protect her? What is the unit doing to protect the kids and anybody else?
Yeah, because we talked about that with as far as the military is concerned. That's like a whole separate situation there. Like that's really isolated when it comes to the military. So it's like that's really like a no-win situation.
But do you know that you can get convicted federally and with the state? So once you leave federal jail, the state can pick up charges too.
Okay.
So that's that double whammy that we're talking about, which means the states, the cities, the counties, everybody should pick up with okay, this is what you did, this is your penalty. And we're going to stick to it. And have those laws sit there for everybody. But women, definitely for the women. Definitely for that. But a lot of men will be like I said before, will be like, no, don't take me to jail. I won't do it again. And she'll fall for it.
She'll fall for it, yeah.
But she needs to get that thing to realize when he's talking to me, I see the horns. When he's talking to me, see all of this.
Right.
Just like my grandmother always said, I can do bad by myself.
Amen.
So have you all heard of the DV101?
No,
DV101 is the dynamics of domestic violence, teaching new recruiters how to handle when they enter a home or a situation with domestic violence.
I think with the police force, we teach more gun than anything. We teach more gun. And a lot of times, how can I put this? People say, do you have additional training? Okay, you go through a psychological test. But everybody knows, I'm going to tell you what you want to hear so I can pass this test and get this job. Everybody's going to tell you. They're going to pass that psychological test, get the job, and then when they get on there, they go to the academy. You don't have a lot of training dealing with domestic situations in academies. Maybe you should have more training for it.
That's right.
You should definitely have more training for it because you have these kids that they come out and like everybody said, they get a gun, they get a badge, they get a Obama t-shirt. Now everybody's Mike Lowry. And they think they can solve every problem instead of them listening and gathering up the totality of it and be like, okay, yeah, you're going to jail tonight, partner. I'm not going to tell you to leave your house. You're going to jail.
That's true, because we even talked about that in terms of church. Like domestic violence needs to be a required training because and I feel like if it's not something that you have experienced before or can relate to in any way, I feel like a lot of people are insensitive to what's really going on. So yeah, you have those women who say, don't take them to jail or whatever the case might be, but people aren't really looking at the fact that this man is really all she has. Like he takes care of her, he takes care of the children.
Yeah.
What is she gonna do if he's gone, or what will he do to her if she, like it's a lot of things that go that play.
That half a loaf again.
Right. So it's like I feel like that should be a required training. Like you have to be somewhat of a sensitive person to even have a discussion with someone who is a victim of domestic violence, which is why a lot of women don't report it because I mean, you get laughed at basically, and God forbid that your abuser is an actual police officer. Like that's a whole separate situation.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, I have no sympathy for you. I worked hard to get my credentials. I worked hard to provide for my family. I'm not gonna let you get me in trouble trying to cover up your mess. That goes for your ethics and morals along with the police department.
Right.
Now, if my partner is abusing his wife, okay, I have to report that.
Mm-hmm.
I have to report it. Because if I don't report it, I'm in just as much trouble as he is, federal wise. I'm in trouble with him.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I've worked too hard to get what I got to take it away because you feel like you're the man of the castle.
Yeah.
Or somebody needs a repping on the beat real quick so they can get in line.
Mm-hmm.
And for you to ask me to put myself and my career on the line, what type of friend are you to me?
That's right.
So you ain't.
Right.
But to report that, if I go over my boy's wife and she got a black eye and I'm looking, yeah, I have to report that. And I see her strange and everything, I have to take it to my captain. I have to take it to my lieutenant. I have to. Because it's like if I walk into a room and my partner is on top of somebody beating them with their club over and over and over again, my job is to stop that beating from happening. But you got a lot of people that's brainwashed, or let me join in.
Well, can I ask you this? What do you say about the states with the mandatory arrest have the highest domestic violence assaults? How do you have mandatory arrest and your state has the highest in domestic violence?
But look what happens. Look what happens after arrest. Are the jails too full to hold you in it? Is the courts more lenient because I done went before the magistrate and be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'll never do it again. And now, okay, you never do it again because you're gonna be in jail.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all up to that magistrate or whoever they go to see when they go to jail. But then some of the reports will leave out. Some of the reports will leave. And like I said before, you have those reports where they're recanted. Well, I don't want to get him arrested. I just want him to leave. Okay, he can leave, but he can still come back.
Come back, right?
And when he comes back, he's gonna be even madder.
Right.
Because you called the cops. That's like if I go and I see anything going on, broken furniture, defensive wounds, black eye, broken things, you're going to jail. Because I don't want to bring a coroner over there with me. I want to have that coroner over there. Because to see somebody being carried in a black bag, and especially if it's your child, that is a feeling you don't want to feel when you blame yourself like I should have been there because I'm her protector. It's my fault. I should have saw key signs this guy or this girl. I should have saw signs of it. But when you are so-called in love, overlook these
You drunk all your drink.
when they should not
No,
be.
I drank a lot of it, so
that's how when I come. I think the states, every state have a domestic violence law. Go through it, but you have the liberalists like don't build more jails, don't put them in jail. What's that? What's the word I'm looking for? Perpetuate the cycle of sending black people to jail. But to me, if I broke the law, what am I? How am I going to go about that? I broke the law.
Right.
I knew that punching my wife in the face
was illegal and wrong.
And the best speech I ever got is when I graduated the Academy of Flex. My instructor told us, if you have a jealous wife, girlfriend, husband, or boyfriend, you are in the wrong line of work. Because if you make a false accusation, I have to take you off the streets until that's concluded. But nothing happens to people that file false charges.
Oh.
Nothing happens to these people. They just whatever, let it go. And it's wrong. For me, every state, you should have mandatory lockup for domestic violence.
That's right.
You should lose everything. If you got a security clearance, you're going to lose that.
Gone.
You're going to lose your job. You're going to everything. Because instead of you taking that 1 second to think about your action, that's what's so foul about it. But people don't take a second to say, wait a minute, I got to get the hell out of here. Now, as far as the snapping thing with the court system, how do you go about that? Because somebody's going to say, well, I need to make an example of her. I don't care about what she's been going through. I don't care how much documentation she should have. And some of the court system look at, well, she should have left.
But what about the young lady who killed her sex trafficker, and they gave her time?
They gave her time?
Yeah. Because she escaped. She had to kill him to escape.
With things like that, they're looking at so much unnecessary crap. Because if I can read this thing correctly, she was like for 13, 14 years or something like that. She was there for a long time.
That's right.
Yeah.
She was for a long time.
It was still against her will.
Yeah, it's definitely against her will. But do you know what happens to those type of people in jail? It's kind of own just come to a sense.
Bad psychological damage.
It's going to definitely have some psychological damage.
Yeah.
It's going to definitely. But we need to look into the judicial system and say, hey, I need to give her everything she needs. I need to give her counseling. I need to get her out of that situation from the beginning.
And so don't you think that if a domestic violence victim does take it upon her hands to kill her victimizer, that maybe instead of putting that person, he or she, in jail, that they should be given a program and some counseling and some childhood care for the children, and not throw them into a society where they're going to be victimized more, because that's what happens.
That's a good question. But like I said before, with me and the court system, is the totality of the circumstances. That's what they're looking at. As soon as there's domestic violence, that person should be moved out of the home into a safe, secure location. If they got a family, move everybody out. put them in a safe, secure location where the spouse can't get to them.
Mm-hmm.
Actually start making places and shelters like that. Stop making jails. Stop
That's
making,
right. That's right.
stop making jails. Start making these shelters that people need it so they can get that fresh start. So they can go to, they can get that psychological evaluation that they need.
Yeah.
But instead of saying, okay, well, you stabbed him so many times, that's a
Capital offense. You're going to jail for murder.
You're breaking up. But I'm not looking at, okay, she has took abuse for 14 damn years.
14 years, yeah.
5 days a year. Who says this guy didn't beat her every day?
That's right.
Right.
But sometimes all it takes is one beating to last a lifetime of your mom.
Yeah.
But we're not looking at none of that situation. We're not looking at none of it. We're trying to get the documents. We're trying to get the court cases in and out, in and out, in and out. It's up to that attorney and your lawyer to strike a plea deal. Well, I'm going to put a restraining order on you, and everybody knows a restraining order ain't what? Nothing.
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 Right. Yep.
I hate to say it. Maybe you need to, as the not the victim, but the person doing the abusing, maybe you just need to really get your ass to that point, so you can understand what it's like to live in fear of something all your life, where it will block you from advancing in life. Because as soon as somebody yells, you're panicking.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want your kids because you don't want them to come out. So it's just wild when you look at the domestic violence, and especially among police officers. We do sweep it underneath the rug.
Yeah. And then everybody is shocked that morning when the police officer at 5 o'clock in the morning gets up and shoots his wife.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could have been like, yo, I should have, but you're not gonna say anything about it.
No.
You're not gonna say anything about it because now that makes you're just as worse as him. Well, why didn't you tell me this? Because now internal affairs are gonna be looking at you like, well, if you knew, why didn't you say something? If you knew this guy got a mean streak, why? Why didn't you say something? But we don't, because we go by the code of a thin blue line.
Yeah.
That's my brother. That's my sister. But if you was a true person, you would help one another.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, going through some problems, maybe you need to talk to somebody. Maybe you need to go talk to the psychiatrist. Maybe you need to be do not harm for a couple of months until you can act the psychological, whether or not it's going to be your job, is going to be a threat or not. And we also, as police officers, have to look at our own actions when it comes to that. Because we have had some officers give us a call and say, well, my wife is doing this to me. Okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to move you out of that house. We're going to put you on a base where the other party doesn't have access. She or he does not have access to you. And we're going to put somebody with monitor to stay with you. But we don't have programs like that. But that's what we could do to protect everybody, not just police, the victim too. The victim too. But we don't have a lot of these programs kicking in like that. We don't. 16 states out of how many states? Over 50 states. 16.
Right.
That's not even a quarter.
That's not right.
That's a quarter.
And Kentucky, Iowa, and North Carolina rank the highest in domestic violence cases.
I can't even tell you. Maybe there's a lot of things that go in poverty, jobs, alcohol consumption. Everything plays in that. Everything plays in that. So if you know that if you're a violent drunk, stop drinking. That's anything. Stop. look at what you got. Look at what you got to go through, and it's really within the Hispanic and Black neighborhoods. You couldn't go to, I hate to say it, a Caucasian neighborhood and do that. But if you're Black and brown, oh, they know. Don't worry about it. They do it to each other all the time. Ignore
Well,
that.
I kind of think actually in the Caucasian palm colored neighborhoods, they sweep it under the rug. You're not even going to get arrested.
Mhm.
But a
We
lot
just
of
gonna talk to you and leave.
But a lot of them actually push it forward to the front. A lot of them push it forward to the front. So it's like dealing with this suburban-like neighborhood. You're more prone to get involved to where within the Black and brown communities, hey, I need to mind my business.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
I need to, I'm not going to get involved in that because one scenario we saw at Fort Totten Metro, a guy was beating up on a girl. And as we was walking down there, Metro Police and everything, and when Metro Police grabbed him, first thing Metro Police was like, I got a gun. So now, let's say we would have made it down there, got in the middle of that, then somebody would have been dead off the break.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why a lot of times people don't want to get involved with domestic violence. And it's not people, it's the courts. The courts should step in and be like, no, we're going to take this serious to the extent. I'm going to go hard on you to the extent. The courts don't. The courts will be like, okay, don't do it no more. You're going to restraining order 500 feet away from them. Don't come near them and everything else. But that's a piece of paper. People are never scared of a piece of paper.
So what's preventing the courts from being strict, from being stricter? What's because they know it's affecting the children. Women and men are being killed behind this, found in lakes, in the freezer. I mean, why don't they be strict?
Caseloads.
It's caseloads of people with drugs, but it's a bunch of people doing time for drugs.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, it's a bunch of people that get arrested every day, give you life, 50 years, 20, 10 for drugs. But you
Right.
can't
And it's been so many cases also where there have been abusers who will put on ankle monitors or whatever the case may have been, and the next thing you know, the victim is dead. Like, it's been so many cases of that, yet and still it's no penalty for domestic violence. It's just I don't get it.
They don't take it serious. No repercussions.
And it's true. You said something about an ankle. Do you know with some of these ankle monitors, all I got to do is wrap it in. I got to wrap it up with some type of foil or something, and it messes with the system. And you got a parole officer that's like, wait a minute, I got 50 people to look at with the ankle monitors. I'm not looking at these 50 people. But is that not your job? I can't go somewhere and say, well, I don't want to take that call as a police officer. But you have police that do it. Oh man, they always beating up on each other again. We got to come over here every day. But guess what? You only got to come over there one time when you lock everybody.
Yeah.
When you lock everybody up and you go to the courts and say, no, look at her, look at him. They are not healthy for each other. But the courts are like, well, we're overpacked in the jail system. We're overpacked here. I got this caseload. Okay, sir, do me a favor. Do you agree not to mess with her anymore for 90 days? If you agree to this, I'll let you out.
And go to counseling.
And go to counseling. But guess what? I'm not looking at going to counseling. All I'm doing is looking at what? I'm getting out.
What I'm going to do when I get out.
Yeah, oh, yes. Definitely what you're going to do when you get out. Definitely what you gonna do when you get out. But guess what? You ain't getting out of jail. Not until you go to court. Yeah, I'm not giving you bail. I'm not giving you anything.
That's right.
You beat this girl to a pulp. And with police officers, I'm supposed to help you. I'm supposed to help you. If I come to your place and I see that you're beaten and bruised, I can't leave you there.
Yeah.
Right.
No matter how much you want to stay there. If I have to arrest you, I will arrest you for your own good.
So, Dobie, I have a question. So, say for instance, in my situation, the police came to my address and they didn't see bruises, and I was the one that made the call, and they left me there. They told him to go on about his business, and the male officer, told me that I don't see any bruises on you. So what I'm going to do is send him on his way. You go back in your house, and if we get any more phone calls at this address tonight, somebody's going to jail. So to me, now this is before I became an officer, of course, but they left me for dead.
And
I could have
that
been killed that night because he
that's
broke
totally,
back into my apartment,
that's totally.
and yeah,
But with the court system and with the court system, like you said, you snapped. This guy's breaking into your house. If you would have killed him, courts was like, oh well, it's no reports of a domestic violence with them because the police didn't do what? They didn't do their reports correctly. So sometimes you don't want to do that police report. You just want to do a journal entry. Well, I got called to such address. I got there and everything seems to be normal. No, I'm looking throughout the house. I'm looking at everything. I'm looking at everything.
they didn't even come in the house.
Yeah,
They called him out, and one officer took him one way, and then that officer stayed and talked to me.
I got there and everything seems to be.
Yeah.
When everything would happen, and you would have been, and I know you probably said, "Look, I'm scared of this guy. I am actually scared of this guy. This guy,
Mhm.
he's a boxer. He's a professional fighter. He can hurt me.
Right.
He can hurt me."
Let me dive in there real quick. Y'all said a lot, and I learned a lot, and I thank y'all for that. But I'm gonna chime in on the the victim and the abuser side in this. So victims have all kind of programs to help them with domestic violence, but abusers have nothing but really jail to help them with domestic violence. Another thing that I've noticed is that victims tell the abuser, I'm leaving you, I'm leaving you, I'm leaving you. Okay. And they get killed for that. The thing about the lead part is that the abuser know everything about that victim, the routine, the whereabouts, the ins and the outs, things that the family don't even know. They be knowing. So they could show up anytime, any location, and kill the victim. So we tell victims, devise your plan, make your exit, and we give them a pamphlet, and we ask them to read that or call the 1-800-799-SAFE number. Or as we said, the restraining order is nothing but a piece of paper. So I really feel like victims need to stay put in that relationship until they can really decide that I'm done with this relationship. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to leave this relationship. Me just saying, yeah, we're gonna get locked up today. I'm gonna come to court and all this. They be lying a lot of times. And they don't really want the abuser to get locked up and have to spend a long time in jail and all those things. They don't really want that to happen in some cases. Matter of fact, in a lot of cases,
Right.
my daughter being one, she didn't want her baby father to get locked up for the things that he was doing. She wanted me to just talk to him about the things that he was doing and try to get him to see like what healthy love is. That's another thing. We have left our men out this conversation when it comes to domestic violence. All we have told men to do is walk away. Excuse me, all brothers are not going to walk away. No. Some of the brothers stay in these relationships too, because guess what? They got children. They could be afraid for their children. Mm-hmm. They could be afraid for their life. And mind you, the sister has been on a job, probably have made him lose a couple of jobs. You know, so where the brother supposed to turn to at the end of the day? You see what I mean? So you go into the school system, they lining up to teach girls how to be in a healthy relationship. Well, when you gonna line up and teach our young men how to be in a healthy relationship? Because we have dropped the ball when it comes to our brothers getting that help as it pertains to domestic violence, whether they are the victim turned abuser, okay, or just the victim, right? Okay. We have dropped the ball with getting our brothers and letting them know you do not tolerate, zero tolerance for some female calling you broke, busted, and disgusted. You know, popping up at your mother's door, talking about open the door, bitch. But you know, all these things that are disrespectful that these females be doing to our brothers.
But love is blind to people.
Okay.
Love is that needed thing. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, women.
Or did I get a partner like my mother?
Yeah. Women should have meant everybody, if you're a victim of it, you should have a shelter for you. But as a man, we are ridiculed. Oh man, you let your girl beat you.
That's right.
Oh man, you let her do this, you let her
Absolutely.
do that. And you know, if I was a true man, I would do this, I would do that.
Yeah.
And it's not about putting your hands on people. But as soon as you put your hands on that other person, that's an assault. Mm-hmm. That's what you call an assault. Depends on how it is. Because it's certain things that people do. It's like when you're growing up, that's what you're used to. You're used to seeing your dad and your mom argue. When I was growing up, I would see my mother and father argue. But what they taught me is we're going to argue. It's what happens after the argument that builds us up. Right. It's what happens after the argument. But when you got the mom talking bad about the dad talking bad about the mom, all you're doing is pushing that child
in front of the kids.
Yeah.
So when it's that girlfriend, he's gonna be like, no offense, but shut up, bitch. No. Mm-hmm. Because certain things within generation gaps are tolerated, some are not tolerated.
Mm-hmm. Or did I get a partner like my mother? Which is my question for the young man. Or did I get a partner like my mother?
Okay, what type of partner did your mother have?
My mother was aggressive to me. She was, abusive to me, telling me I'm dumb and stupid. She wished she never had me, telling me all these things. And so I end up in a relationship with a girl saying the same thing as my mother. Because all women sit around and talk like that to our young men. Yeah, these women in these single households be, verbally abusing the mess out of our young men. And so then they end up with a partner that talk like their mother talk.
But that's when that other person, that other spouse or partner needs to jump in.
Because, I wish that was so.
Because I'm saying it like this. I've dated women with kids, and I have agreed to the way they raise their kids. You cook 3 meals because your son is yelling at you. No. When I grew up in a household, mama cooked 1 meal and that was it. Either you eat or you starve, your choice.
Right.
But when you being your kid's friend, you think that they could do anything. So when they get in trouble with the law for fighting or doing anything else, domestic violence, they're going to look at you to bail them out. And instead of you being that parent, you're being that friend.
That's true in some cases.
I will never be, if I'm in a relationship anybody gets in a relationship with that other person, it's going to start out with the verbal abuse.
Most definitely.
And all it's going to do is intensify from verbal to physical.
To physical.
Most definitely.
To physical. Because
Then isolation.
Because I've had one friend. The boyfriend put the girl in the hospital. Put her in the hospital. He wants me to go over there and move some of her stuff out. So I started thinking, why do you want me to go over there knowing that I carry a gun and he's going to be there? So you're trying to set up. Yeah. So my thing is, the family got mad because I questioned them. Where the hell was y'all at when this was going on? Oh, we didn't know what was going on. Yes, you did.
Yes, you did. Yes,
you did. You knew it, because my thing is this. If any one of you are my family members, and you put your significant other over to my house, and he's like, I bet shut up, get me a drink. Whoa, cuz, you done lost your damn mind. You don't talk to her that way. What is your problem? But what some people do, oh, I ain't getting involved. I ain't getting involved.
Right. They ain't getting involved because they in the same stuff, so it makes sense to them too. That's why they ain't getting involved, because it makes sense to them, because they in it 9 times out of 10. Birds of a feather flock together when it comes to domestic violence. Let me tell you something. They all sitting at the same dinner table, all right, and then they next door to you. Okay, you be attracting that mess.
Next door to you too.
You be attracting that mess because that's all you know, that's all you've seen, that's all you heard. But back to the men that are victims of domestic violence. Okay, my sons are never to put up with no female telling them that they dumb, stupid, broke, and busted. You know, no. We're not gonna tolerate that from no female doing that, because it's unhealthy for you. See, so we have to start having that conversation with the men too. Yes, we having it with the young girls, okay, but we not having it with the men like we need to. There's nowhere in the world, tons of men sitting up here saying that, oh man, it wasn't nothing wrong with me having sex with my babysitter when I was, 10, 11. Excuse me. So you were sexually molested. Oh, no, I just had sex with the babysitter. Excuse me.
But that is molestation.
That is molestation.
But some people look at it as rite of passage.
A trophy.
Rite of passage.
Right.
A trophy.
I was gonna say, but men don't look at it like that. Yeah.
Right.
But for the daughter, then it was molestation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. For the daughter, they gonna some of them anyway.
Somebody gonna die.
Some of us out here pimping their daughters to their, so you got that part too.
Because I can tell you, when it comes to me, we had a thing for DC called Aqua Day Camp. Yeah. And it was sometimes we would go to different pools within DC, Banneker.
That's right.
So this was before I was the righteous citizen I am today.
Amen.
The guy was over the gate talking to one of my 13-year-olds. Now Octavian, light skin, long hair, pretty eyes, everything. So I was like, yo, man, that girl's 13 years old. You know what his response to me was? I don't care. She got a hoe. And
absolutely.
I'm like this. Stay your ass right at that gate. Me and you gonna have
right.
We gonna have to talk.
That part.
But when it comes down to a lot of the domestic violence, we need to provide programs that really freaking work.
Right.
You can build a shelter for women and men, for families. Get that counseling. Hey, you got 6 months to live here. We're going to provide you everything you need. Hey, when you go to work, I need you to switch up your routes to work. I need you to bring your boss into this conversation, so he knows that the spouse can't come up to the job and say, "Hey, I need to see my wife." Or man, hell no, you're not allowed here. I'm going to trust you from my. So guess what? That's another case on you. That's another case on you. But like I said, we don't get involved in that thing.
Right.
We don't get involved in it, which we should.
Mm-hmm.
We should, but you're playing that 50-50 role because I don't know the mental state of the other spouse.
Right.
I don't know the mental state of them. Will kill me when I walk
Right.
outside my car in the morning. He could come from the other side of the garage
That's right.
and boom, blow my brains out.
Sure can.
But my thing is, when you look at why are you so in love with that person? Why are you so in love? Why are you so dependent on that person? Because we have lost the values. Okay, I want better for myself. I can't settle for this. I can't settle for that. It's time for me to pack up and move on.
But do we keep saying if somebody loves someone that much, or is it that person doesn't have enough self-love for themselves?
They absolutely don't.
They
They
No,
absolutely
they don't have
don't.
enough self-love for themselves. So what they've been taught is love. It's not they have it all miscrewed. It's not they're not staying there for love. They're staying there because of self-worth.
Mm-hmm. Well, the other thing too, though, is the abuse is very manipulative. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they
So
are. They can
when
be.
you get in front of that abuse, I'm talking about male and female abuser, because we're not doing the bias conversation. We talking about male and female abusers who will sit there, you know, and pretend to care.
Yeah.
Pretend to care about what you done been through, how you got through it. And then, you know, later on when you get down the road, they start throwing the stuff in your face. So now you saying, I thought you loved me. I thought you cared about my story and what I've been through. Why you throwing it back in my face? See, that's right then and there. You should know that that's a problem.
Yeah.
When you trying to be effective in your relationship with somebody and then they turn around and throw it in your face. But then it gets confusing because it's like, I know he or she love me, but why would they throw that back in my face? Why would they use that against me? You know what I mean? Why would they tell my mother or my father that I'm crazy, or, you know, making my children seem like I'm crazy and stuff like that? Because the abuser will do all of that.
It's
Okay?
about you and keeping you down.
Yeah.
But when you said that self-love, that is
they don't have it.
Of it.
They don't have it.
When you love yourself, guess what? No weapon formed before you will formed against you will prosper. Because I have that love for myself. I know what I'm worth, and I'm not worth getting beat on or talked down to every time you turn around.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what I'm saying. Like I said, when my daughter passed,
Which was when?
This was about 3-4 years ago. When she
God bless you.
That I got that call. I'm in my bed, 11 o'clock. Her girlfriend's calling me, panicking and crying. She got shot. I'm like, what the heck? So when I actually get to the scene, I'm like going through tape. I'm trying to get up. Only thing I wanted to do was hold my head.
Yeah.
And I had to go through help because I blame myself. Because I blame myself because I should have been there to protect her. I should have been there to protect her mother. But that's something that I have to do. So when it comes down to domestic violence, I take it serious. I take it so serious that I don't care. If your people want to bail you out, they want to spend their money to bail you out of jail, let them. Because I'm telling you right now, I have that mentality where I blocked up my own cousin. I don't care. Because they bailed you out of jail. You say you ain't going back to court or nothing. Nah. You going back to court.
Somebody got to say something.
I'm going to take it. But we don't say nothing because of that one fear of getting involved. Now I'm on trial for murder. But it all depends, and I hate to say this, how you word things within the court system. That's the difference between, okay, or he was coming at me, so I ducked after him.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like an assassination.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Instead of saying, "Hey, I shot center mass to stop the threat."
Mm-hmm.
Different sayings, different terminology.
Right.
When women and men go to court, the judge should look at everything. Wait a minute, dude. She went to the hospital with broken ribs. How did she get broken ribs? Oh, she
Yep.
fell steps. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure I tumbled down some people. I think I hit the shoulder, but never broken ribs. Fighting the suspect.
But the victim is saying, I fell down the steps.
Yeah.
The victim is in on it.
Yeah, agreeing
They be
to
in
it.
on it. They
Yeah.
be in cahoots with it together. So, and that's just about every couple. Until they get till they get the brake beat off of them or something, then they start saying, "Oh my God, I'm in an abusive relationship." But in a lot, when it's first starting out and it's new and it's fresh and all that, they be with it.
My thing is this. I've seen women and men with broken, busted eye sockets.
Yeah.
I've seen them with busted cheekbones where the side of their face is so swollen. Seen them with broken arms. I've seen it, and I want to
understand it.
I want to be like, I'm trying to understand, but guess what? I will never understand what's going on in your mind.
Right.
But as much as what's going on and everything else, that's what happens.
Did you understand what was going on in your daughter's mind when it happened to her?
No, because my thing is, it was out of the blue.
It was out of the blue for you?
It was
how old was she?
She was like 22.
Okay. My daughter was 19, so it was right around the same.
She was 22. And my thing was, and then you try not to fall into certain things.
Yeah.
Anything like that. Because they never abused the mom. Never abused the mom. But when they came to that point of, I'm leaving you, I need you to leave.
Oh yeah.
That's that trigger.
That's a whole problem.
That's that trigger. Well, I'm
going to be a whole problem.
You and nobody else is going to want you.
Yeah.
Going to to where you're not going to be anywhere else. Because prime example, have you ever watched the first 48?
Yes.
The guy had the girl. The guy had the girl locked up. The detective was like, "If you confess, I'll let her go." At the end of the show, where they show where the sentences is being done,
the words,
she got 15 years. Her first offense, 15 years. All you got to do is tell me, well, man, I'm about to go beat my wife. You ain't going nowhere, brother. You gonna stay right here with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You come, or better yet, you staying on my couch. And guess what? Guess where I'm sleeping at? That chair. Because you ain't going
nowhere. Because you ain't going nowhere.
Want to pee? I got a pee bottle sitting right there next to the couch. Pee bottle. Like,
he is on house arrest. You're not going nowhere.
And guess what? And I'm like this. I have friends that will be like, we will take turns. And guess what? I'll be like, look, LT, I got him at the house. Boom, 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 boom.
I'm sorry, but it's not a lot of officers like you. I'm sorry, but it's not going down like that.
It's not a lot of people like that. Cause like even speaking for myself, you know what I'm saying? When I went through domestic violence, I didn't feel like I had anybody to protect me. You know what I'm saying? And so that's important.
That's my job.
That's your job.
I'm supposed to be able to put my life on the line for people who I do not even know.
Yeah.
Right.
When you call 911, I'm supposed to be there. I'm supposed to be there regardless of the situation, whether you're racist, whether you're a man beater, whether you're a white beater, child, I'm supposed to be there. That is my JOB. And that's not my JOB to be like, well, I'm going to hang back here until somebody else answers the call. I'm not gonna show up. I'm not gonna get there as soon as I can.
Oh, I just made it to 7-Eleven. I'm about to get this coffee because that cold will hold on.
That's like today. We had an alarm response at work. I was in the PX buying gloves. I got the alarm response and I ran out of the PX with the gloves.
Right, because you was on a mission.
Because I'm getting to the car.
That's right.
I went back in and threw the gloves at the people and got out. That's my job. When you call, I can't pick and choose what laws to enforce. And sometimes when you're that police officer and you go to these domestic violence calls, put into the most dangerous situation.
Yeah.
When you walk into the place, I'm looking. We are taught never to follow a woman into the bedroom.
Yeah.
We are taught never to follow. Well, I can't say the woman.
Anyone.
Right. Anybody.
Never to follow you into the kitchen. What's in the kitchen?
Right. Right.
I walked into a domestic violence call, and I'm sitting there like this. As soon as I walk in the door, I see a baseball bat sitting in the corner.
Okay.
I open the door, I put the baseball bat in the closet.
Right.
Wow.
I won't let you sit on the couch. You're going to talk to me. Why?
Right.
Because what's in the cushions of the couches?
Right.
So,
well, I think
we got a minute left. We got 1 minute left.
I thank God for officers like you because
I'm trying to tell you, amen for that.
Speaking only for myself, with my abuser, when you have an abuser who is known in the streets or things like that, it's situations where I've seen officers when they see it's him, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you come across officers like yourself, women who are in these type of situations, they need that, and so I just thank God for you.
But you actually need that community policing. You need to have officers. Man, let me come in. Let me talk to you, bro. Let me talk to you. Your ass is going down the wrong path.
Yeah.
We need to have that relationship with the community as police officers.
Absolutely.
Community.
Absolutely. Yeah.
With the community that you feel safe to come to me with anything. Well, Officer Doe, my boyfriend is doing this, he's doing that. Okay, you want me to talk to him?
Right.
And guess what? Hey, this is what's going on. I need you to make just drive by there a couple of times.
Yeah.
But you got some police officers, I ain't driving by there, dude. I ain't getting involved in that. That's your damn job.
Exactly.
I told my son, because he's a black man in America. I mean, a lot of these people go into the school system talking to our black men, and I'm just going to say black men for now. Prison reform, coming back from doing their time, returning citizen thing. Where are the brothers who never went to jail?
That's right.
That can go in these school systems and talk to our young men. You don't have to go to jail to learn about domestic violence.
Exactly.
You don't have to go to jail to be loved and feel a family.
But nobody wants.
They have a different point of view, also.
But where the uncles and where the grandfathers? Where the uncles and the grandfathers?
Where are they at?
Yeah, where are they?
All of them, it's stories. We need solutions out here. We need to know, let our people know that our brothers don't have to go to no jail to learn how to be a man.
Like, ma'am, you're a lawyer. They don't want to hear from you.
Right.
They don't want to hear what's going to happen. They don't want to hear none of that.
Right.
They don't want to hear none of that. All some of these people want are clout.
Yes. Yes.
Now, if you beating up on somebody else, because do you know, as a police officer, if I come up on the scene and I tell both of you to stop, the next one that throws that damn punch, you going to jail.
Right.
Because you assaulted somebody in my presence.
In front of me. Right.
But the first thing they're gonna say is, well, that's self-defense. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Right.
People got to understand what's self-defense. What's attempted murder? I mean, a lot of people, they'll throw up the self-defense. Do you know if you're fighting somebody, if if you're fighting your spouse and they fall down and you start to kick them, and you start to kick them in the head, you could be charged with attempted murder. Because you know that's going to endanger their life right there, kicking them in the head. But once you fall down, guess what? The fight is over.
It's over.
That's Rene Michelle's story because he was hitting you in your head, wasn't he, Rene?
Yeah. So
And
he was trying to beat you to death.
That right there, your ass going to jail with me.
Okay.
And trust me.
Zero tolerance.
It's I don't have, because I don't condone nobody putting their hands on nobody.
That's right.
Nobody.
Yeah.
And I try to tell people this when it comes down to it. When I come up on the scene, it's what I see.
Yeah.
That's what I have to go on.
Yeah.
That's what I got to
saw.
If I'm telling you to put down the knife, you don't put it down, and I shoot you.
Right.
It's so crazy. Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's beating me. Ma'am, I need you to put that knife down now.
Down. Yeah.
I need you to drop that knife. I'm here. That's when it goes into the psychological we was talking about.
Yeah.
You have to be that's like you have to listen. Even though you may not know what to do, you listening might calm them down.
That's right.
Right.
I agree.
You sympathize and you have compassion.
I agree.
But yet then again, I have a knife and some people are trigger happy. And they will do that. Oh, she had a knife.
Right.
So I went up there.
And that's why I said within the court system, it's the totality. If I stab you 75 times, maybe they say me snapping is 15 times.
Yeah.
But you've already been dead, but I keep stabbing you.
So do you think?
Come on now, because they do be overkill.
So do you think that was the case with the nurse in New York?
What happened with the nurse in New York?
We spoke about this earlier, that she had time, that she got a lot of time because her estranged husband broke into her home, was beating on her, and she stabbed him to death. But she got like 20 years.
It's got to be a part two. We got to go.
They tried to make an example of her.
Yeah.
Which means she's going to get that appeal, but you will never hear about that appeal.
Oh, she's out now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So she will get it, but you will never hear about it because they're trying to make the DA is trying to make a name for themselves.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't understand. Your lawyer, that and that judge, they eat at the same restaurant so they discuss your case over lunch. But if you get him to this, I'll give him probation for 2 months. And like I said before, well, all I gotta do is agree to it, and I don't have to go to jail.
Right.
As soon as I get out.
Then you said they be clout chasing. You said some of the people out here they be clout chasing. So,
but like I said, what she said, that piece of paper, all I gotta do is sign and say, "Yeah, Your Honor." What's the reaper from you going around her? Yeah. Well, do me a favor. I let you go one time. I'm gonna try to give it to you one more time. No, you gotta understand. If it got feathers, ass is watertight. That's a duck. But you got these judges. I'm sympathetic. I can do this. No, because I'm telling you right now, all you have to do to understand the court system, go to your local courthouse and sit in it and see.
Yeah, see how they do them cases.
All court cases, you could just walk in and sit down in a divorce hearing.
Yeah, public. Yeah, public.
You could just, but see the way the court system works.
See how they work. That's right.
Because you can snap on somebody when you have 14 years of pent up frustration where you're making sure that this person they don't even become reincarnated.
Yeah.
You
got a Jason kill. Make sure they don't get back up.
Yeah. Or they do a Lorena Bobby.
And to me, right. You're going against this woman who was abused for 14 years, 365 days for 14 freaking years. To me, if that would have been me, my daughter, my sister, my cousin, I would have to go turn my gun in.
Right.
I would have to go on a vacation where I cannot do anything.
Right.
Because my thing is, first thing that happens, court system lets them out. Why? We gotta overload case. Why?
Yes, they do.
Those are crowded. Everything.
Yes, they do.
Do with
Yes,
that.
they do. Yes,
But
they
you
do.
have liberals like, oh no, don't put them in jail. You're just perpetuating the cycle. Whatever. I'm sorry, I can't say the word.
Perpetuate.
Perpetuating.
Perpetuate the cycle. But my thing is, I know for a fact I'm too cute to go to jail. I'm not going to jail. I'm not going to do anything that's going to put me in that thing. And I will never allow anybody I hang with to put me in that situation. Because to me, I'm going to do a Ray Lewis. And the reason why Ray Lewis was on a $90 million contract. He went to jail when he was going through the court system in Baltimore. Ray Lewis was like, well, his grandmama got a speeding ticket she ain't paid for. And I got $90 on the line.
Yeah.
Guess what? I am a paid informant. That's what I'm going to do. Point blank.
Thank you.
You're not going to jeopardize me, my family, or anybody else because you can't control your temper. You can't control.
That's right. That's right. I'm down with you. I'm down with you.
For me to teach my daughters, I teach them. I date them.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, let's go. Let's get dressed up. Let's go out. Hey, let's go to dinner. Now, my youngest daughter, her mother's boyfriend's like, let's go. She's like, my dad takes me for that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But when a lot of them, my dad takes me for it all the time.
She hit.
So therefore, when somebody buys her something or shows her attention,
exactly.
Yeah, she's used to that.
Exactly.
She's
used to
right.
it. Right.
That's right.
Right.
It's not, oh, he loved me. He loved me. No, my daddy loved me first.
Exactly.
My daddy has taught me what a man does. Yeah.
And my thing is, people got to understand, like Denzel Washington said, a boy's first love is his mother. A
That's what my mom said.
Love is her father. You teach them the way to be. You can't sit there and talk to you anybody wish. You can never be your friends because my daughter, before that, my youngest daughter was like, Dad, aren't you my friend? My older daughter said, no, he's not. He's your father.
Right.
Have you? Everybody taught him tough love? Yeah.
Yeah.
The worst thing we can do as a society is when you have people, keep helping people out. But yet then again, like DMX said, trust a snake to bite you.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Different from you. Trust a liar to lie to you. And once you expose yourself, I can't help you, no matter what.
What you got going on. Exactly. I feel like you're going to get me locked up. I feel like if I'm in that type of vicinity like that, you're going to get me locked up. That's what I feel like. So I need to go ahead and exit the situation, move on, because I feel like you're going to get me sent to jail. Because trust and know, I'm not going to let you kill me. All right? I'm not going to let you do that. But like, it's a touchy thing.
You get more props coming out of jail. But like the youngins the people don't want to hear about this. They don't want to hear about police interactions. They don't want to hear about domestic violences.
I just need to hear some black men talk about solutions.
And
stop talking about these jail stories and how many years you done and what you could be, because it sounds like I need to go to prison.
Let me tell you this. For the DC National Guard, we have a thing called Youth Leaders Camp. And we take them and we want them to be leaders. But our thing is this, and this is when it comes down to it. We teaching you to be leaders. But one day we were sitting in the classroom and the guy told a girl, bitch, get out my face. So me, myself, I flipped off. Some of the kids called the parents, was like, Dobie was cursing, Dobie was doing this. And I did like this. Do you think your child don't curse? No, my child don't curse.
That's a lie.
Nigga, your child right on video.
Okay, letting them have it.
And they sitting there like, well, I don't know. One female went to the camp, came out in a 2-piece bikini, string bikini. I was like, you done lost your damn mind.
Right,
What?
put some clothes on.
Yeah, you lost your damn mind. So she went for her father. Now this is her
And
father.
he probably was the one telling her to put it on.
The father came to the camp. It was like, well, as soon as I saw the father, I was like, Marvin? He was like, Dobie? Oh, her face.
And y'all know each other.
Because I knew her father.
Oh, wow.
Tell them what you did. But as far as teaching them to be leaders, a lot of parents don't want to be. Because I'm telling you right now, when we have the drop-off for the kids, some of them parents come to the drop-off with their club clothes on that night.
Because they was done.
To slow down the car. They just push them out the car and keep moving.
But for the men, I feel like it's kind of the same situation as the women. Like, speaking for myself, you know, my father he was a father, but he wasn't, you know, he wasn't a part of my life. I didn't have
he wasn't present.
I didn't have a role model like what you're doing with your daughters as to how a man is supposed to treat you and things like that. And when it comes to my mother, all I saw was her being abused. And so there was never any conversations or anything to say, hey, that's not supposed to happen. You know, you have to communicate with these kids. And I feel it's the same thing with the boys. If they grow up in an environment where they see, you know, their fathers talking reckless and crazy and disrespectful to women, that's what they do. If nobody is sitting them down and explaining to them how it's supposed to be, you just it's a learned behavior. It's a learned behavior.
But that's when that man or that adult figure comes in. Hey, I need you to slow your roll, watch what you say, watch what you do. Because that's not the way to handle things. That's right. Outside person to come in. That's when you need that. That's when you need that environment. Somebody they look up to.
Yeah.
And what's worse is when you have a generation of men in the family who condone domestic violence, and along with the women who condone the sister or the sister-in-law being beat on. So everybody's condoning this, and then you have children that's around going, but don't you know? I mean, don't you see there's a black eye behind that? Those shades? And so you see, that's a broken arm. So you see all of that, but you're confused because you're like, but y'all not doing anything.
You know something too? It's a lot of people across different cultures who teach us sweep it under the rug. What goes on in my house, stay in the house.
But guess what? Sometimes it needs to come out the house. But have you ever seen a story called Men Don't Tell?
No, I've heard of it.
It's where the wife would beat the husband.
Yeah,
okay.
That's out here.
So
I already know that because that was me.
But what happened at the end of it, where everything got exposed, is when she was beating the child. He grabbed her. They fell through the window. So the police arrested him instantly. They arrest him instantly. No investigation, no nothing. She's like that. But what broke the case is the daughter talked to the grandparents. It was like, why does mommy beat daddy all the time?
Come on now.
Somebody. What media is
we
this?
Gotta go. We can't take another comment.
It was a show a long time ago.
Yeah.
You know the girl from Who's the Boss? The skinny lady that was with Tony Danza.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She was a part of it.
Okay.
It was called Men Don't Tell or something. It was something like that.
Okay.
It was something like that. And it's also another story of Farrah Fawcett. They call it the burning bed.
The burning bed. I've seen that.
Yeah.
Where he beat her for buying a $2 shirt at Kmart.
And that's these dudes out here. These dudes out here will beat you for the single cigarette. They beat you for the single Newport.
But my thing was, they tried to go at her hard. And that was a true story.
They did try to go in there hard.
Yeah, the husband beating him up 24/7. And
because his family was known.
That's what I'm saying. Like you said, you don't see that black eye underneath those shades. You don't see the bruises on her arm. She's sitting down, or it's 110 degrees and you got on long pants.
You can. I'm sorry. You can watch
Or
it
my
on
son telling me that a cat scratched his neck.
You can watch it on MDB.
Yep.
And what is it called?
Men Don't Tell.
Men Don't Tell.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Officer Dobie. We got to go. Thank you so much for chiming in with us tonight. We really appreciate you. We gained a lot of insight. You know, condolences to you and your family regarding your daughter.
Condolences.
You know, and keep doing what you're doing.
Ladies,
standing in the need.
I appreciate you having me on. And anytime you need me, Fin. I call Fin.
Yes.
Well, Queen just said we're gonna do a part 2, right, Queen?
Yeah.
Come on.
Is whatever
we got to do a part 2.
And y'all need help. Let me know, and I will try my best to help you within my business.
Thank you, Officer Dobie. Y'all heard it here tonight, man. He on the camera. He live telling us this. So if we need to go back and reference it, we will. But we trust you, Officer Dobie.
He a man of his word.
Yeah. Okay. He is a man of his word, honey.
What
are you
What are you going to reference?
We're going to reference what you said. If you need any help, I'd be glad to help you.
To the best.
To the best of his ability, he's saying.
Okay, because you're not no slouch police officer, all right? Let me say that too.
Not at all.
You're not no slouch police officer, all right? You are top flight. We need to have you cloned all across the world, honey. I'm trying to tell you, because you are doing families a great service. And not only that, you can relate. Like, you have a story that these people you coming up against, like, it's so hurtful and so humiliating sometimes, but you are doing what you are supposed to be doing. And we thank you, Officer Dobie.
I'll tell anybody, you don't have to explain to me the most intricate part of the details to your life. Just going through something.
Yeah, we all going through something. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
I remove Officer Dobie. Listen here, we got to go. Okay, Officer Dobie could have kept us a whole nother hour.
Another hour.
Story is so great, like, and his energy is powerful. All right, so we do need to do a part 2, but I'm still anxious to talk about domestic violence in the workplace, honey. I really we ain't tap into domestic violence in the criminal justice system where the professionals are the victims and the abusers. Okay. Or they having it on the job because they be messing around with each other, husbands and wives. All right. We ain't get into that, and they come to work for the criminal justice system. Okay, or the Department of Justice. All right. So that's my side piece that I would like to do. Anybody want to add, sisters, before we close out?
No, this was very informative. It was really, really great. And I'm glad that Officer Dobie did.
Thank you, Renee, for bringing Officer Dobie on with us. We need him on tonight. He was really, really great. And everybody clear?
He is who he says he is too.
Amen to that.
Every day.
Amen to that. We're gonna need him to be just that. Is he single?
No, he's not single. He's not single.
That's not your business, Queen.
Queen, maybe he has a brother.
Okay.
Let me say something to you. The brother might not be as smart. But anyway, we're gonna take Officer Dobie for who he's not single. Ladies, he's not single. Y'all already know I got the end on the group. Look, we need to lighten the load because that thing there was heavy. Okay, so everybody need to get their mind out the gutter for Officer Dobie. He is taken. All the single ladies, put your hands up.
Okay. Look, yes.
Okay, bye. Good night.
All right. Good night, everybody.
All right, good night.
Bye.